All right, let's move on now to the second email today. And the second email today comes to us from Francisco, who writes, do you think it was part of the deal with Lucasfilm/Disney for Ron Howard to step in and direct Solo that his daughter, Bryce Dallas Howard, get the opportunity to direct one of the episodes of the live action The Mandalorian TV series? All right, thanks a lot for the email, Francisco. And look, nobody get mad at Francisco for asking this. Francisco's just asking what we've all been thinking. Let's just admit that. Francisco's only asking what we have all been thinking. Now, for those of you who are going, what the hell is Francisco talking about? Okay, so Jon Favreau has been working on a new original live-action Star Wars TV series for the upcoming Disney streaming service, and he announced it was going to be called The Mandalorian. Then they released the list of directors for the first season. Some big names in there, including Dave Filoni, Taika Waititi, which is one of the big ones in there, but also Bryce Dallas Howard. Now, we know Bryce Dallas Howard mostly as an actress. I mean, most notably, of course, just recently, she's been in the Jurassic World films. She was, of course, in The Help. She was, of course, Gwen Stacy in the Spider-Man movies. As a matter of fact, I want to say, did you guys know that I was the first person to get a picture with the two Gwen Stacys? That's right. It was while they were promoting The Help, and I was interviewing Emma Stone and Bryce Dallas Howard, and it dawned on me, wait a minute, this is the first picture that there's ever going to be of the two Gwen Stacys in the various Spider-Man movies side by side and together, and I got this picture with the two of them, which was great. Look at Emma Stone's face, the way she's looking at me. You can tell she's thinking to herself right now, my God, that's a handsome man. That's what Emma Stone's thinking right there. No, she's not. Anyway, so that's what she's mostly for. But Bryce Dallas Howard has been directing a little bit, including this short film that she did that's been getting a lot of attention. And, you know, I've said for a long time, hey, directing some live action television episodes is a great way for a director to cut their teeth and get better. This is the sort of thing that a Dave Filoni should be directing. This is the sort of thing that a Bryce Dallas Howard should be directing. I like this move. But the elephant in the room. A lot of people, ever since they announced Ron Howard was going to come in to try to salvage Solo, and he did a great job. Ron Howard did a great job with Solo. Especially when you consider all of the challenges and all the adversity that he was facing, having to basically redo 75% of the movie while keeping its release date, trying to keep the budget as close to realistic as possible. But he did an amazing job. And I thought Solo was a real fun space adventure movie. I got a big kick out of it. He did a great job. But right from the beginning, a lot of people are going, why is a director the caliber of a Ron Howard stepping in to salvage this movie? Now, granted, he's got a long time relationship with Kathleen Kennedy. He's got a long time relationship with George Lucas. So there's a lot of that. But I remember saying at the time, when it was announced that Ron Howard was going to step in to direct Solo, I remember saying at the time, there's a give and take in here somewhere. Because somewhere in this agreement with Disney is Disney's going to greenlight a certain project of his, or he's going to get to do something in the future. If he steps in and saves this movie, he gets to do something later. I never knew what it was, and maybe this Bryce Dallas Howard thing is not that. But you can't blame Francisco for at least bringing it up and asking the question. Because the Bryce Dallas Howard name did kind of come out of nowhere. It did. It came out of nowhere. Is this the now you scratch my back part of that deal? Is this part of the whole reason why Ron Howard did Solo? Was him saying, yeah, I'll do Solo, but here's the catch. You got to greenlight this movie that I want to do in a couple of years. And you got to give my daughter's getting into directing. You got to give my daughter an opportunity to jump in there, direct something Star Wars-ish. Maybe something in the animated world. Maybe one of this new live action show you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. You got to give my daughter a chance to get in there and cut her teeth. Look, I'm not saying that's the case. The fact of the matter is she did do this short film that was getting a lot of international attention. And this was a good opportunity. She's a big name. That could have more to do with it than anything else. All I'm saying is, I'm not going to fall over in shock if in 15 years Bryce Dallas Howard writes a memoir and writes her biography and says, my dad got me this directing gig with the Star Wars live action show. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying the way the circumstances align, you can't at least ignore the question. It's a question. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Maybe she deserves it, whether he did or didn't. I mean, who knows? There's going to be a lot of questions out there. But yeah, I mean, as a fan, I am not going to outright reject the notion that maybe Ron Howard had a little something to do with Bryce getting this directing gig. Now let's see if it works out. Now it's up to her. She's got to do something with it. Let's see if she can take advantage of that. All right, let's move on to email number